Hi, I'm Byron Tyler, and welcome to this edition of Mid-South Viewpoint, where we are on location. Yes, you hear a coffee grinder in the background because we are at Coffee Central, where we've been doing a series of shows here, and I'm excited to come here. I've never been to Coffee Central. I've never been on 302 at Getwell. I go like east or west and have never really turned off of to Getwell and discover what's here.
Well, welcome.
And this is, thank you, Tina Tatum, the
you.
owner of Coffee Central, joins us on the show here. Thank you so much for being a wonderful hostess. And now I'm excited Tina, to get to talk to you about this coffee shop and everything. We are located here at Coffee Central in Southaven, bringing coffee and community together.
Yes.
And we've already been experiencing that since we've been here. This location in Southaven, 5627 Getwell Road. Also, the other location in Hernando, 39 West Commerce. And I think that was the mothership, right, Tina?
No, this one is actually.
Oh, this is the original one right here.
Original, yes.
Okay.
We've expanded this space, but
Okay.
we've always been right here at Southaven. Coffee Central, DeSoto Central. That's the name. That's the nameplate.
I love it. And also, there's Ethos Coffee Roasters.
Yes,
Okay.
Ethnos Coffees.
So tell me about this connection here.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Would love to. So ethnos means people group or nations. So in the original language, so people group or nations, we import from nations around the world. You know, America is not a coffee producing nation. So we acquired Ethnos Coffee Roasters last October 2023. Kenny Baker was a former owner. He's a pastor in Bartlett, was a pastor, had a wonderful opportunity in LA to go do ministry, to go as one of like senior executive pastor on a substantial church in LA. And so he was needing to sell and needing to move. We were already being trained to roast there. We were just going to roast for ourselves. Okay. And then the opportunity came where he needed to leave, like pretty quickly. The opportunity was given, and he was gone in 60 days.
Yeah.
And so he came to me, and we had a lot of shared values. Our mission statement at Ethnos is across cultures and around tables. So that was his mission statement. Ours was bringing coffee and community together. So he was doing it on a global scale, and we were doing it on a local scale. So we had shared values, shared vision for coffee, of bringing people together over a cup of coffee, how it can be so healing, how it's so reminiscent of a lot of good memories, typically.
Yeah.
And so he offered us the opportunity to acquire Ethnos, and we did. So we took a big dive. Pretty substantial dive into coffee at that point in time. So we wholesale, we import from about 12 different nations.
Now, I was looking on the shelves over here by us, and I see some coffee blend from Ethiopia.
Yes.
Which I love Ethiopian coffee. It's really good.
It's from the Bombay region of Ethiopia. It's one of our top sellers, actually.
You have any from like Nicaragua, El Salvador, some of the
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
So yeah, we actually have 3 farms in Guatemala that we're working with right now. We do have a Nicaraguan right now that actually we have it as one of our give back programs with Palmer Home for Children right now.
Yeah,
it's private labeled for them right now.
That's a great work. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And so we import. We have a whole entire female farmed line. Where our Guatemalan farms, Yunnan, China, and Brazil are female farmers, female producers. I'm 100% female owned. We have a female roaster, and then we give back out of that line of coffee back to Sister in Binghamton, helping women off the street.
Oh, I love Sister to Sister.
Yeah, Trisha Henderson.
Yeah,
we love her
Trisha's
so
doing
much.
Great work. Yeah.
Yeah, and right there at Binghamton Community Church. So all along the entire supply chain, from those white bags that you see with the purple labels, we give back $1 per bag.
Yeah.
Back to her work of her drop-in center and her safe house there in Binghamton.
So I don't think people realize we're not talking about just drinking a cup of coffee, which
Right.
you can do that, and delicious. Matter of fact, I meant to grab, Renee is over here. Renee, grab the specialty coffee sheet at the front counter, if you would. Bring it to us. I want to read
seasonal.
I want to read some of the seasonal drinks off. I meant to grab that before we jumped on these microphones, but Renee is helping us out here today. But I think what you said, the essence of connecting community for Christ in these different nations, because the opportunity is you have connecting with these different coffee producers.
Yes.
I mean, there is an opportunity there. I've heard of some of folks that are actually building churches, through ministries like this. Right?
Exactly. We are actually working right now. We don't have it roasted yet.
No, there's actually a sheet on. There's a sheet by the register there, With the specialty drinks, yeah.
Yes, I should. So we're working. We haven't got it to market yet, but we're currently sample roasting and test roasting some coffee that we brought in from Thailand, which is going to support a missions-based program in Thailand for a children's home in Thailand.
Yes.
You know, Christ-based, faith-based organization. It's actually called Ride for Him. They bicycle all across Thailand. They're here from here in Southaven.
We've had
DeSoto
Pastor
County.
Greg has been on. We've talked about
Yeah,
this.
so Pastor Craig Davis is no longer at Cornerstone. He's doing great things, but that originated out of Cornerstone Church.
Yes.
And so Ride for Him, Bobby and Debbie Cavett are still carrying on that mantle, and they go over there several times. So this supports that work, that coffee that we're going to bring in and roast
Oh,
will help
Tina.
support the missional based in Thailand to help these children.
Well, let's just stop a second and tell our friends about these holiday drinks. I'm going to let you take
you want me
it.
to tell you?
Yeah, tell me about these holiday drinks.
Okay, so this menu is created by our bar manager and our bar leads, and they are really the experts in coffee. Like, I get to run the business side. I love to talk to people. When I work the bar with them, they always know it's going to be a little bit of chaos because I'm more concerned about you on the other side of the register, you
Yeah,
know, the person,
yeah.
than I am the coffee, and they're highly concerned about the coffee, right? So we have, they created this drink menu. We have seasonal menus, okay? And so we just came out of our fall menu. Now, this is the winter menu. And we make most of our syrups in-house. And, of course, we've roasted our own coffee. And then we're preparing it, brewing it, and bringing these drinks to the market. So Winter Elixir is... it's our house-made honey and clove syrup with lemon. And we have a coffee that we age, a Brazil coffee that we age in Old Dominic barrels, the
Yes,
bourbon barrels.
yes.
So you don't get any of the alcohol, but you get that intense aroma and flavor of it, and then we roast it. So the Winter Elixir is our barrel-aged bourbon espresso.
Wow.
That's been roasted,
Yeah.
and then it's mixed with our house-made honey and clove syrup. It's delicious. It's a latte. And then we've got ginger snap latte, which is a house-made ginger sauce that we've made that goes in just steamed milk and espresso. And this is my favorite. It's actually what I'm drinking right now. And since we launched it, Carissa King, she developed this drink for us. And it's a salted maple bourbon.
Ooh.
So it's a house-made syrup, salted maple, and then with our bourbon espresso.
Yes.
And steamed milk.
Ooh.
It is, I mean, it's so comforting. And then we have a peppermint mocha because, you know, you can't have a white chocolate mocha without peppermint during
That's
the
right,
holidays.
that's right.
But we house make the syrup. So we feel like that personal touch of excellence. We do have some syrups that we bring in that we outsource, but for the most part, we try to make as many as we can. All on our seasonal menus are house made. And then sugar plum fairy tea. So if you're not a coffee drinker, we have tea options in here. And that's a cinnamon plum tea that's made with our house made vanilla syrup and nutmeg.
Yum, yum, Tina. Those
Delicious.
So good. And these are seasonal drinks, and they're always changing. But this is the happy time of the year to come at Christmas. Enjoy those holiday menu.
It's wintertime. It's our time of the year
There you
to
go.
glow.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced when launching this coffee business?
Wow, yeah. So I think the biggest challenge was Coffee Central was previously here, and it was a local coffee shop, right? We wanted to elevate what was happening here to specialty coffee. Okay, so there's a difference between commodity coffee and specialty coffee. We're grade A, Q1 grade A quality coffee, small farms, all hand-picked. Right, hand-picked coffee.
And some of these farms could be just a couple of acres.
Yeah, they're not very large.
They're not very big at all.
They're not, considering something like a Starbucks or something like that, where just imagine their global volume they need for coffee.
Right.
Like, they can't work with these small farms.
Right.
And so ours are all organic. It is all hand-picked. So to roll back into your question is what was the biggest challenge was taking what was a local sort of mom and pop coffee shop into specialty grade coffee.
Yeah.
So for instance, from where Coffee Central originated to where we are now, we are about 1/4. We're a fraction of the amount of syrup and sugars that was originally put into your drink. Because
That's a big thing.
It is.
I love this.
We have eliminated so many sugars because we want people to enjoy the coffee. Now, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So we're right here next to the school, so we did a lot of fraps and a lot of things, cheesecakes, biscuits, and good coffee. It was really good coffee, but it was super sweet. It was full of all the milk, full of all the sugar.
Sometimes you feel like you're just drinking sugar, right?
Yeah, right. Sugar milk. And you don't really get to the coffee.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I don't mean anything bad about this, but
No.
you don't have to have excellent coffee if you're putting all that stuff in it. honestly.
You're right.
So we wanted to be a specialty grade coffee, third wave coffee, which means that it is sourced by we're inspected or qualified by the Specialty Coffee Association at the farm level, and then we bring it in. It's local, small batch roasted, and then we have trained qualified baristas, and then we can bring it to market by several different brewing processes like espresso, pour over, drip, cold brew, all of the different processes that happen to the coffee before you get it in your cup. So our biggest challenge was bringing along the palate of this community
Yes.
To wean them off sugars and to really appreciate and taste the coffee and understand that coffee is not cheap because people have value.
Yes.
So we pay a good quality, fair trade market value to these local farmers.
Right.
We bring it in. We have to touch it. We roast it. We pay baristas. We have overhead here. And then you're getting this cup of coffee back.
Plus, you're getting this atmosphere,
Yeah.
where you come and have
Yeah.
community.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, people come and have Bible studies here.
Love it. Yeah. So that the coffee side was the most challenging because I've always been about community. I've lived in this community my entire life. So when we opened the doors, we had 100 people cramming in the doors because of my involvement. I coordinated National Day of Prayer for 10 years all around DeSoto County. Used to work with Memphis National Day of Prayer. That may have been where we met.
I think that's where we met before. Yeah.
National Day of Prayer.
National Day of Prayer, yeah.
Yep. So I did that for 10 years all around DeSoto County, and then I worked with the Memphis National Day of Prayer, and we did a big event at Bellevue. So I think that's where we met originally. But so bringing community together and people believing in what I'm doing, because I've always been very authentic in giving back to the community, was something that just flowed really well together, the community aspect. But learning coffee, presenting something, being recognized by the Memphis coffee community, people who've been doing coffee a really long time and doing it really well, is something we've worked really hard to just raise the standard of what specialty coffee is.
Yeah. And I love that too when you talk, because that's one of the reasons why I don't typically get a specialty drink because of the sugar, because it really just gives me this buzz I can't deal with, Right. And so usually I'll just take a drip, a black coffee or a pour over, something like that. And that's what I was drinking earlier here is the drip.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness! And I just drink it black, and it tastes so good.
Thank you.
I mean, you can tell the quality. What was the drip today? Do you know?
We had the Bombay, Ethiopia, and Brazil on drip. So it just depended if you wanted a lighter or a darker roast.
I'm not sure what the barista gave me. I just said, "Give me a drip,"
Delicious.
So.
What is super cool about that is that because we roast our own, so the coffee you just drank today was roasted last week.
Wow.
So and it came off the farm this year.
Wow.
So it's super fresh. There's no room for it it doesn't sit in a warehouse anywhere. And we're in the process of bringing part of that roasting process here to Southaven, which will happen just in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it's super fresh, and you just cannot replace specialty, the quality grade, how it's handled, the profiles that we've developed on roasting, and then the missional aspect that's behind it is everything is done with the spirit of excellence. And we are here to just find coffee as an entrustment from the Lord. And we want to do everything we do to glorify Him
Amen.
and to benefit the people that are around us. So we want to provide that great coffee and then provide a community-based environment where people can come and enjoy it.
Tina, how do you think the rise of the coffee culture has influenced your business here at Coffee Central?
Oh, tremendously. And it's kind of funny because we say we're in the South, so we hit everything about 5 years after it's hit other big cities, right? But the influence of, the coffee culture and the coffee community really has affected us. And, we're just south of Memphis, Tennessee. I consider DeSoto County a suburb of Memphis because we're just right here on this state line. But oftentimes, like before we acquired Ethnos, I would drive to Memphis for quality coffee. I would go to the coffee shops in Memphis. A lot of the things that we do here, we would go to Memphis to get. So my thought was, why am I taking, this revenue, because I'm also business-minded, why am I taking the revenue from DeSoto County, Mississippi, and always spending it in Memphis?
Yeah.
And also, my community wasn't there, right, at the time. But the rise of specialty-grade coffee and the rise of, it's just such a really great community. We have great relationship with all the coffee shops in Memphis, and especially all the local roasters, because we were first a cafe that needed to purchase from the roasters. So we've purchased from, Jay Brooks, Dr. Beans, Vice and Virtue when they were up and going, Coffee Black, all of the Memphis roasters, which we are in it together.
Yeah.
I could call any one of those guys. They call me if we need anything. We troubleshoot off of one another because we really believe that we're better together.
Yes.
And when the water in the harbor rises, all the boats rise together.
Amen. Well, I did a show not too long ago with 901 Roasters.
Yes.
Are they still roasting?
Okay, which one? Sustain 901 or which roaster?
I just remember 901 Roasters. They do
Okay.
they have a connection with the some roasters down in the Oaxaca, Mexico.
Okay.
Where they help plant churches as a result of these
Okay.
coffee houses there.
Okay, good.
And so that's all I can tell you.
I'm not familiar,
Not familiar.
but there's a lot of small batch
yes,
roasters.
yes.
And I'm not saying they're not legitimate. I would love to get to know them. So
yes.
maybe I'll go back and look up that whatever segment you
They're
did, and
very,
I'll find them.
very ministry minded.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole focus of what
Yeah.
they were doing and how
Right.
God was working
Yes.
through the coffee to plant these churches.
Exactly.
you know?
And that's what we're super excited. So some of our coffees, so for instance, one of our Guatemalan coffees, they're believers and they have a dental group, a dental clinic, if you
Right.
will,
Yeah.
in their native community there.
Yeah.
So they are providing tangible love of Christ through good dental care for children and people who would not get that. And you could literally die of dental disease, different things in cultures where you don't have access to wonderful health care like we do here. So we've got that, and then we've got the aspect of bringing it back home where we're utilizing coffee to generate revenue that's helping ministries right here in Memphis and in DeSoto County.
Yeah. Let's talk, if we can, a little bit, Tina, about this community here at Coffee Central
Okay.
and some of the relationships that you have built and discovered, here, meeting people, and I'm sure different walks of life, different experiences.
Yes.
Tell me about some of those relationships.
Wow. I've always said that our assets are our people, right? Our riches are in our relationships. I really believe that. So we have developed so many wonderful relationships. And it's so funny because it doesn't matter what time of day or which shop you go into. You're going to see Bible studies happening, right? You're going to see pastors meeting with somebody, sitting around, or you're just going to see old relationships connecting. But some of the most treasured relationships I have actually been with the church community and pastors in DeSoto County because now they have a place to come and meet. I can name off about a dozen. One of the favorite things I love to do is if I see the room, if I walk into the room to the shop and I know, Pastor Ryan's over here from Olive Branch at Hope Chapel, and then we've got pastor over here from a different church. I'll go out there and I was like, hey, do you know such and such? You really should. Let me introduce you. Do you have just a minute?
Yeah.
So I've always been a connector in that aspect.
Yes.
But some of the greatest relationships that we have found have been in the ministry, but then also just in everyday people who just love this community, who love Northwest Mississippi and Memphis, having them come in and be regulars with us. And then other relationships that I love making are with our team. I tell our team all the time that, we have two sets of customers. One's our external and one's our internal. And we want to handle them with golden rule service. Actually, I call it platinum rule. So not just treating others the way you want to be treated, but treating others the way they need to be treated.
Yes.
Because everyone comes in these doors with something different. Yeah. I've had the opportunity to pray with young girls who got kicked out of band at the school next door, just tears coming down their eyes. When you see hopelessness on someone, I'm very careful not to overstep any boundaries.
Yes.
So I may use it as an excuse to bust a table or how are you doing? Or do you mind if I,
Yes.
whatever. But there's always an opportunity because it doesn't matter if you believe the way I believe, everyone needs hope.
Yes.
Everyone who walks through these doors, I want to feel the sense. And when you look at some of our Google reviews and input that we get from the community is that this place just feels different.
Yeah.
And it's because we really challenge our team and this environment to make it a place where people feel welcome from all walks of life, from all denominations or even different faiths, to see that we have an unconditional love for people and we genuinely care for people. And we want to show that through our coffee, but then we also want to show it through, a smile on our face and an opportunity to serve them.
Oh, what a great word. I love that, Tina. So what are some key factors do you attribute your success to so far?
Right. Well, one of the key factors, one is the Lord, because he started this in me, right? Just today, probably every day, I remind the Father that this is his business, Right. So I'm just a steward of that. And so especially like right now, you've got rising food costs are just through the roof. You can ask any restaurateur. We went from $3 a dozen on eggs. We're over $6 a dozen delivered right now on eggs. So it radically changes our margin there. So one of the key contributing factors that I've found is that just realizing that there's nothing I can do within myself, and that it requires a team of people around us who have a common core value, shared values, that have a reason and a purpose to be here.
Yes.
Because anybody can make coffee, right? Anybody could pop up, open your doors. But the difference is in the factor that we genuinely love people and we love what we're doing and we want to serve this community. And we give more than 10%. Last year I looked at it and my CPA was like, do you know how much you gave away last year? And I was like, I absolutely do. I absolutely do know how much we gave away. We support teachers. We support, firemen. We have 3 different give back bags right now, which one is going to Sister to Sister. Well, actually, it's 4 coffees. We have one for Palmer Home for Children, and then a wildlife association that's in Memphis area that we're giving money back to out of the proceeds. Yes, we could keep that in our operating budget, but I feel like we're not just here to take from the community. I just don't want you to come here and buy coffee. We want to have had an impact on your life when you come here, that you leave here changed, or at least sensing something was different in your life.
Wow. Yeah. That is so wonderful. And it's really a place, too, where the Holy Spirit can work, in communicating with people or meeting, gathering. There's such a warmth and just a wonderful feeling when you come into Coffee Central here. And I want to talk about some of the foods. Now, for lunch today, I had the chicken salad with the spinach wrap.
Did you like it?
Loved it. It was so good. Now, I understand your barista told me you guys make the chicken salad yourself. Is that right?
We do. Yep.
Okay. Now, also noticed in the cooler you had sausage balls. Now,
Year-round.
I see, that's the thing. I love sausage balls. Usually, that's made. Matter of fact, I wanted to make some sausage balls around Thanksgiving time. My wife said, "No, that's what we do at Christmas time." I'm thinking, any time's a great time to have sausage balls.
It's a great time.
So you can come to Coffee Central, and there's coffee. Do you make those too?
We do. Yeah, we make. I'm trying to think of anything that we don't actually make. We don't make our own bagels. But like we fresh bake everything in-house. There's a few things that we outsource, but our quiche is homemade. We make it in-house, a proprietary recipe. We actually won best in the state of Mississippi for our quiche through the National Egg Board. Who knew there was a thing, but we did. Our sandwiches, we have just a light fare of options because we want to remain coffee forward.
Sure.
But what we do, we want to do very intentionally and do it in-house. Probably our top sellers is our chicken salad. That was my original recipe.
Yes. Sausage
Balls, I love. So I'm like, you should be able to enjoy this year-round.
You should be able to, right?
Yeah, it's an easy grab and go. Our pepper jelly with that, if you didn't get it, is made locally. And then we, some of our other top sellers, every morning we make fresh breakfast wraps. Bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese. We have bagel sandwiches, croissants we bake fresh in-house, our puff pastries, muffins, scones, things like that are in the grab and go.
And they look so delicious, so fresh, too. Now, what are your hours?
Okay, so Monday through Friday, we're open 6 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Wow, that is wonderful, friends. You have got to come to Coffee Central here. Now, are those same hours replicated at the Hernando location?
Yes, same hours. Yes,
same
absolutely.
hours. Okay, so talk about customer feedback and community engagement. How has that shaped the way you manage and operate the shop here?
Yeah, very good. So we take Google reviews, any kind of review, very seriously. I mean, good, bad, or ugly. Yeah. I personally respond to every single review at all of our locations, these two and at Ethnos, because I think it's super important that people know that they're heard. And even if someone was having a bad day on a review, I want to acknowledge that they have the right to feel however they feel and that we understand that if there's a correction that needs to be made on our team, that we're making it, very quickly. We're a small business, so we can pivot pretty quickly. I can address issues right away. But the customer perception and the reviews and things of that nature, part of what has molded us is by hearing what people really want. You know what I mean? By hearing their input and hearing their feedback. I just read a Google review the other day that was talking about this location and about how calm and peaceful it felt and how it had more of an urban vibe. And then on the same day, we had a Google review for Hernando that said it felt like coming home to Grandma's house because it's a 102-year-old house. in Hernando.
Oh, I love it.
And then other reviews that are just always about how fresh the coffee is. And if there's ever a concern, I think I've had 2 not so positive reviews over the last year.
You can't please everybody,
I know.
right?
And, I want to take that attitude as, they were just having a bad day. But I literally, I message the people back and I'm like, help me understand exactly what time did you come in? Exactly what did you order? I'll pull the tickets out of the register. I'll look at our schedule, see who was on. I'll have a conversation with that person or my general manager and say, help me understand what was going on here. And if I've done my due diligence to find out maybe that person was having a bad day or maybe we fell short that day.
Yes.
Then let's quickly correct it so that they don't have that same experience next time.
I'm telling you what, Tina, having worked myself at managing in the food business, years ago, customer service is so important, and making sure the customer feels that way. I'd rather eat the cost of a meal and give them,
Absolutely.
something fresh and new. So they do have that good experience, right?
Right, exactly. We want to take care of it quickly, expeditiously. If we find out about it before they leave the doors, our managers are going to take care of it for them right away. But potentially 99% of the reviews we get are, 5-star reviews.
That's awesome.
And, I would expect nonetheless, because even if we do have a misstep, our team members are so gracious to recognize that they need to make it right.
That's right. So what sets Coffee Central apart from other coffee shops in the area?
Me. No, I'm just kidding.
I believe it.
I'm just kidding. Actually, I think, what did I get myself into? No, the Lord. It's Him. We can't do anything without Him. I think what sets us apart is our ability, I think, to reach a lot of different people. So a lot of times you go into, a larger city and it's a specialty coffee shop and maybe everyone doesn't feel comfortable. We've really trained our team to talk to people and educate them about coffee.
Yeah.
If someone comes in and literally has never been to a third wave coffee shop, a specialty coffee, and they don't know what to order, they are not shamed here. Let me help you. What would you drink at home? So I think what sets us apart is we have a heavy lean towards educating our customers.
Yeah.
On coffee, and then just having a gracious attitude to help them navigate on what they want to order, and then hopefully they have such a wonderful experience,
Yes.
that they want to be here. And then just being gracious, we are going to experience, and if you're still here in just a little bit, the wave of students that are going to come out of DeSoto Central, that will be over here to enjoy, that have a safe space. We have tutors that come in and use our space to meet with their students after school.
Yeah.
So just having a place that is open and that is available and that doesn't put an expectation on our customers except for the fact that we want to be your place for coffee and community.
Yes. Tina, what are some misconceptions about running a coffee business that you would like to clarify?
I love it. I love it when someone says, I always wanted to have a coffee shop. And I was like, come to work for me for a month and let's see if that changes. No, it's really a lot of work. So misconception is we're just out here pouring beautiful latte art, and everything's beautiful and we're, everything just is wonderful every single day of the year. And we're supposed to be on our point. Coffee is supposed to be absolutely perfect every single time. But coffee, especially great coffee, we're dialing those beans in every single day. The wind, the temperature outside, and the humidity in the room can change what's happening in coffee right away. We literally our baristas every few drinks are tasting the espresso. They're reworking the grind size on the grinders. But some of the misconceptions is that you're just pouring up coffee. You're just putting stuff in a cup. Where we are really concerned with every hand that touches before you get it in your cup from the farm, from the seed, the farmer, the importer, how we're handling it, how we're roasting it, the branding, the packaging, how we're partnering with our wholesale accounts, and then presenting it back to a customer. So I think the aspect of, and my team will tell you, I don't expect them to do anything I'm not willing to do.
Yes.
So if I come in and the bathroom's dirty, I'm going to clean the bathroom. Right? If I come in and the tables haven't been bussed, I'm going to bust them and straighten them up. As a coffee shop and someone in the service industry, as an owner and a proprietor of something, you never stop wanting to improve and create an excellent experience for your guests that come in the door.
Oh, I love that. Tina, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for the invitation to come. And we've shared with some wonderful ministries and nonprofits while we've been here. And if it's okay, I'd love to come back in the future and do some more shows.
I would love that. I'd love to talk about Gather. We didn't even talk about that.
I know we didn't. We have to come back and do that. But we've got this cozy corner here to talk about
That's
it in,
perfect.
and it's wonderful. And thank you so much. God bless you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Let's remind our friends that we are here at Coffee Central in Southaven, right off of Getwell. There's also the one in Hernando. Is that the town square?
Yes, it's right before you get to the square on with 39 West Commerce Street, just on the left, across the street from the post office. Is the easiest
right
way
there.
To find it. Yeah.
So great, two wonderful locations here. A great getaway for our friends in Memphis. Listen, come on, leave those coffee shops in Memphis. Come down here to Southaven,
Every now and then.
the Coffee Central, and enjoy right here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Well, friends, that's all the time we have on this edition of Mid-South Viewpoint here on Bot Radio Network. Coming to you from Coffee Central in Southaven, I'm Byron Tyler, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.